Now we're going to turn our light off just to show you how dark it can get in the area where the two officers crossed, and we do still have some daylight at this time, a slightly earlier time in the evening than when the incident happened. Now, Bill Murray says that he hopes that the officer's death will not be in vain and that the town will look into replacing the street lights. And what's a snow day without a little fun? All right, I had to join a lot of these kids here in Atlantic Highlands. Are you guys ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. In Atlantic Highlands, Kimberly Wallace. Just this week, the state Senate passed a bill to create transparency and a timeline detailing how state aid is allocated through the Rehabilitation, Reconstruction, Elevation, and Mitigations Program, also known as REM. I admit it, I am stuck. Like so many other people I saw on the sides of the roads, a lot of people slipping around, getting stuck like I am here. It is not fun, let me tell you. There are snowbanks as the snow continues to accumulate. Plows are out, even piling up the snow even more on the sides of the roads. Now take a look at all of this water that's still being used. You can imagine that freezing over and turning into this, which is coating the roadway. So some seriously dangerous conditions that these firefighters were working with. But this is a laser I bought at Staples for $27. It says it can reach up to 800 yards or about half of a mile. It's a little hard to see in the daylight here, but point it up at the sky, especially at night towards a plane, and it could land you in jail. The wind is really picking up off of the Raritan Bay. As you can see, I'm holding my umbrella horizontal, trying not to get blown away. Very dangerous, could easily take down power lines, trees, and that's why the Middletown Mayor Tony Fiore ordered for mandatory evacuations of the 9,000 residents along the waterfront. In the meantime, if you are digging yourself out here, they are asking for you not to throw the snow into the street, but instead on the curb as best you can. There are some repairs still being done today in areas of the mall that sustained damage while law enforcement was looking for the gunman. The shelter has seen record-breaking adoption rates over the last few months. Developed and managed here that I'm going to test out. They're about to break ground on the first of 26 playgrounds that will be built in Sandy-savaged areas.
Good evening. It was a dream vacation to the Caribbean that turned into a nightmare on this ship behind me when 630 of the over 3,000 passengers felt violently ill, apparently from the norovirus. Now, this ship just docked just a few hours ago, and I talked to some of the passengers as they were getting off who told me about their vacation gone wrong.
Diarrhea, nauseous, vomiting.
24 hours.
And then her husband got sick, and then he was quarantined for 24 hours.
Just a couple of days after the cruise departed on January 21st, passengers say the virus peaked. Today, only 7 remain ill. Many passengers on board the Explorer of the Seas say frustration filled the cabins as many people were quarantined for 24 hours or more. Some volunteering to stay in their rooms to avoid getting infected.
My wife and I both got sick. It was a miserable time.
We only went to 2 of our 4 ports, and people were looking for warm weather.
We had the buffet. It's hard to tell. We were downstairs, we were upstairs. It spread fast.
Specialists have been brought on board the ship to help with sanitation.
When we've had as many sick people, we use some different methods. We have steam, we have bleach, we have ultraviolet.
Royal Caribbean will be compensating passengers for the inconvenience.
They got half off this cruise, and we're going to credit that to their form of payment that they originally made, and they're getting 50% off their next cruise.
Now, when the ship docked, I did see one person being taken out on a stretcher, but I am told that it was an unrelated illness, nothing to do with the outbreak. Now, doctors and nurses were brought on board mid-voyage, as well as health officials from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The ship docked 2 days early, but it will be cleaned and ready for its next voyage, which departs on Friday. That's the latest live from Bayonne. Kimberly Wallace, FiOS 1 News. Back to you.
So brave of you, and thank you.
A rare moment captured exclusively by FiOS 1 News between a mother and a young woman who stole her disabled son's red wagon.
I just feel really bad. I never would have taken something from someone that was disabled.
The surveillance video of Kelly and her friend stealing 6-year-old Alex Bean's wagon early Monday morning quickly went viral, prompting the young woman to step forward and take responsibility. 4 days later, Kelly, who did not want to reveal her last name, returned with a brand new wagon, a stuffed animal, and an apology.
We were on our way home from the bar. We were waiting for our ride, and we just saw the wagon and did something stupid, and we really regret it.
Tracy Bean is Alex's mother. Alex suffers from cerebellar hypoplasia. She takes him out for walks in the wagon almost every day for stimulation and socialization.
The wagon means a lot to us, and not for sentimental reasons, but just for really mobility reasons. He loves to get outside. He loves to be around people.
Today, Tracy was brought to tears when Kelly entered this gate once again, this time to apologize. Tracy says she can't wait to take Alex out for a ride in his new wagon, which now has more meaning than before.
I'm speechless. I have so much admiration that she came, and that was so big of her, to come and, confront me and apologize and then, give Alex. She gave him a stuffed animal.
Tracy says she has no plans to press charges against the two girls. In Belmar, Kimberly Wallace, FiOS 1 News. That's right, the rain is starting to come down here. The temperatures are dropping and the winds are picking up, as you can see by the choppy waters in the Raritan Bay behind me. 9,000 people are under mandatory evacuations here in Middletown from the Keensburg section down to the Atlantic Highlands. Now, these people just don't need this right now. This is one of the hardest hit areas by Hurricane Sandy. But as the Middletown Mayor Tony Fiore explains, with this nor'easter coming, it's better to be safe than sorry.
This storm that's coming through is going to produce high wind gusts, potential tidal flooding. This is the area that has been most affected from Hurricane Sandy. There are many structures that people may be in right now that may not be stable to high wind gusts and the potential for any more flooding.
The mayor says a normal nor'easter wouldn't be as concerning, but due to the unstable conditions, he's ordering people to leave. One of those residents is Donna Kunz, who's still recovering from having a foot of water in her house during Sandy. Are you concerned for your house?
Might be a blessing if I came back and it was leveled. Wouldn't have to go through it anymore.
Many residents remain in distress along the waterfront.
Hello, police.
Police officers are knocking on doors, making sure everyone follows the mandatory evacuations.
We have to let everybody know that if it does get really bad again, they won't be able to come back in.
9 days after Hurricane Sandy hit here, 10% of Middletown residents are still without power. That number is expected to go up exponentially. As you can see, there are still down power lines, and with many vulnerable trees, they could topple over, taking down even more power lines. So major power outages are expected during this nor'easter. That's the latest here from Middletown. We'll be bringing you up to date all day here on FiOS 1 News. I'm Kimberly Wallace. Back to you at the desk. There may be changes made to security protocols at the Rutgers University Newark campus after a woman was stabbed. Making news around the nation, the tragedy in California. Authorities say all 6 people killed during a rampage in a college community were students. 3 were stabbed in the apartment of Elliot Rodger, who then shot and killed 2 women and a man who were also students. There's still no word this afternoon on the fate of an American hostage whom ISIS claims was killed during an airstrike. This as international military pressure is growing against the terror group. FiOS 1's Nancy Ward has more. If snow removal seems like an endless chore, it might get worse next year. Governor Christie's 2016 budget cuts $44 million for snow removal. 2 years after Superstorm Sandy, the effects still linger in our area. Environmental officials have been performing flight checks flying over the Jersey Shore. Neptune residents will now be able to use a popular boardwalk that was destroyed by Sandy just in time for the holiday weekend.